I just came up to you. You guys look like I said, like you guys might have a lot to say, but really, who are you?
My name is Bruce White. I'm the commander of the VFW post and the head of the Central Texas Veterans Alliance here in Buda.
Oh, it's amazing. Wow. And could you tell me a little bit, I know about the Wind Therapy Freedom Riders because I was with you guys yesterday for a little bit, but could you tell us what it is? Like the WTFers?
About what we do?
Yeah.
So I'm also a rider in the American Legion Riders 213 motorcycle group.
Okay, I see.
And we're a veterans motorcycle group, and we ride to raise money to assist disabled veterans, veterans in general, families, the local community, and to be good citizens in our communities.
That's awesome. And like, you know, in your experiences, have you met any troubles like trying to raise money for disabled veterans? Like, what is it like to do that? Like, is it difficult work, or are people generally pretty supportive?
No, people are generally pretty supportive about what we do to help the community and veterans. And I think that's a big difference with us. A lot of veterans posts just seek to help other veterans.
Yeah.
We seek to help other veterans, but also the general community. So we do outreach to the community. Our group here in the since March 16th, we raised money and produced 11,524 masks, handed them out to everybody in the community, veterans, non-veterans, families, people in Austin, Buda, Kyle area, sent some to people overseas, troops overseas. We printed 3D mask straps for nurses in hospitals, 5,800 of those, and we fed 50 families during this crisis. That's the kind of stuff we do. We'll also go out and help, like a veteran. We had a veteran whose fence was demolished. He couldn't pay to have it repaired. He was getting HOA fines. We went out and funded it and did the labor and built him a new fence. Those are just in the last couple of months.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That really is. I think that anything we can do for others, right, is always a blessing for all of us. I'm big about community, and you know, so what drove you to come out today for the you know, this is a Back the Blue event, right? You know, what kind of made you want to be out here tonight?
We're partners with Wind Therapy Freedom Riders. We supported them on the Vanessa Guillen ride in San Antonio. We do some other events with them, and we just seen constantly in the media the denigration of the police officers and police in general.
Yeah.
And while, and understand, I'm not speaking for the American Legion or the VFW, I'm speaking for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Your personal opinion.
I am 100% in favor of reforming the police to protect the civil rights of everybody in the United States. 100% for that. I'm 100% for people to go out and protest, to make their opinions known, have their voices be heard. That's what we as veterans fought to defend, the Constitution of the United States, the right of free assembly. What I am not in favor of is people denigrating with a broad brush the police, because I'm not going to, you know, the overwhelming majority, I can't give a percentage, the overwhelming majority of police officers are just like you and me. They have a job, they do their job, they're not racist, they're not out to intimidate or subjugate anyone. They're bad apples in the police, just like there's bad apples in any organization. They're bad journalists, they're bad carpenters,
bad mechanics.
They're bad people.
Terrible mechanics.
Anywhere. But to broad brush the entire police that we've seen going on is wrong. The police that I know, that I'm related to, friends that I have around the police department, they are dedicated public servants who are the farthest thing from the caricature of all police being portrayed as racist, homophobic, brutal fascists. They're not that.
And why do you think people feel that way? Like, what have you heard that, you know, maybe doesn't make sense to you or makes sense to you about the way people are talking about police officers?
It's blown up by specific organizations that wanted to raise awareness and using a broad brush to defund the police, etc., and paint all cops as bad. And we've heard it. We've seen all the filthy language being used. All cops are pigs. All cops are bad. All cops are evil. Is absolutely asinine and wrong. You never paint somebody with a broad brush.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King said in the 1960s he looked for a day when his children would be judged by the content of their character. I actually believe that. I believe every single individual should be judged by the content of the content of their character, not by their ethnicity, their race, their gender, or anything else.
Yeah.
Characters count. Character is what counts.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that, you know, sometimes we lose our focus and like people look at the world so simply, you know, and it's frustrating to me. This is why I do this, because, you know, people like you who, you know, support law enforcement are often seen as people that are racist or sometimes painted as people that don't care about their community, right? And I see that it's not true with you. And I appreciate, you know, you taking the time to talk to me, because it really teaches me a lot about, you know, what's really out there, you know, versus what people are saying is out there. So, you know, what you mentioned reform for the police. Like, what kind of reform do you feel like we need for the police, or do you feel like there's any pressing reform we need right now?
Yeah. This is again my personal opinion.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think the police are to blame. Ultimately, it's the politicians who write the laws that the police then have to enforce. I'm a real opponent of victimless crime.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to smoke marijuana, who cares? Why do we throw people in jail for doing that? Why do we have other laws that criminalize behaviors where there is absolutely no victim? The government, the politicians, and let me be clear, the politicians are the ones who write the stupid laws like the war on drugs. In the 20s and 30s, prohibition, which turned out bad as well. They're the ones who write the asinine laws the police have to go out and be enforced at, and then people get ticked off at the police. The politicians who write the laws are the ones that where somebody needs to step back and look at it in a clear focus and say, is this law necessary? Does it protect the public? Is there a victim? If it isn't, then why is it a crime? And if you get rid of that kind of things, then people are not going to be, the cops aren't going to be going after people for stuff that honestly shouldn't be a crime to begin with.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that there are some, you know, things that we can handle in a different way that don't, you know, necessarily ruin people's life or cause unnecessary costs and trouble to law enforcement and everyone else. So I'm totally with you on, you know, the war on drugs and everything, and, you know, trying to reform some of these victimless crimes. You know, do you, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like, do you have any last comments? Like, anything you want to tell people watching at home? Like, you know, there are people, probably 50-50, that watch my stream, like, on both sides. Some people really extreme on one side, some people, you know, really
I'm not
far
extreme on
side.
either side.
Yeah.
I'm a moderate. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Democrat. I'm just an average American.
Yeah.
Who himself lives a conservative and law-abiding life. And as I said before, I 100% support people going out and making their voices heard. With the initial protests my daughter participated in,
Yeah.
I've supported those, and I believe everybody should have the right to protest. I don't believe people should have the right to destroy other people's property.
Yeah.
And riot and create violence.
Yeah.
On either side.
No, yeah, I could see why, like, property destruction is a concern, and that's been one of the biggest concerns for most people out here, right, that are supporting You know, you see what's happening in Portland and in Seattle, and it's crazy. Like, you know, the amount of like chaos that exists there. You know, it's like a lot of back and forth, and you just don't know really what's going on anymore because now it's just a big mess. What would you like to see in Austin? You know, tonight they're heading to Austin Police Department. You know, how would you like the night to turn out tonight with them over there?
I hope that both sides can peacefully, in a controlled and rational manner, make their voices heard. Ultimately, we all have to live together. You can't have one side calling for all cops to be killed and the other side calling for all Black Lives Matter to be killed or whoever. We all have to live together.
Yeah.
My family is biracial. We need to see each other as human beings, not as a white human being or an African American or American, Native American. We need to see each other as human beings.
Yeah, yeah. I'm 100% on that.
When we sit in the military, there isn't any black or any white. There isn't anything. We're all green. That's how we are.
Yeah.
You'll see my compadres, my comrades here in the BFW, the other veterans, all races, all genders. We are all one.
Cool. Thank you so much for your beautiful words, sir. You take care of yourself, okay? Be safe.
Where does this stream at?
It's my personal page here. I should have a card. Yep.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Have a beautiful day. So motorcyclists are heading out. I'm going to try to get some drone shots of them heading out to APD. Then I'll be heading out to APD too.